Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are doing some work out at Mars today, rejoining the upper stage of the glorious Hassel Lifter, as it is about to try to capture at Mars, and hopefully get itself relatively in line with the orbit of Harmonia Station. We've got about 52 minutes or so to go before we have to light these engines and make our burn. We're going to spend half of our DV getting into an orbit. We'll try to make a little correction here out at our ascending node, probably on the back of RCS, and then the rest of the DV from the Hassel stage, lowering our orbit into something a little bit more respectable. I have no idea how many ignitions we have left, because I can't really click on the engines. They're recessed into this control core, which was a design choice, I'm sure, but their hitbox is absolutely tiny, so they're impossible to check. I can click on the core pretty effectively, but getting... Ooh, no, that's Saturn Instrument Unit. Maybe I had it there. Nope, Saturn Instrument Unit. Alright, we're probably not going to goof off with this a whole lot. Yeah, he says as he goofs off with it some more. Yeah, so no idea how many ignitions we have left. That's a thing. Anyway, let's time warp on in. RCS is armed. The RCS fuel is unlocked. Is it unlocked up here also? It is not. Man, we went through a lot of that. Did I do a correction on RCS with this before? Maybe. I'm not 100% certain. Anyway, we got about a minute and 17 seconds of runtime. This stage is actually built under its rated runtime, or rated its full burn time for these engines, and considering boil off, which is not that excessive, we still have some in our primary tank and more down here. There is our reminder alarm for this vessel. This is, of course, the Mars, hopefully what's going to be a surface installation, a semi-permanent one. We'll see how well that works out, because it relies very heavily on my inability to pilot things very well. Alright, 20 minutes to node. We can probably light the engines up about 30 seconds out, but we'll need a good minute or so to rotate into position. Very bright Mars is today. 3, 2, and let's just go ahead and bring it out of time warp and get ourselves rotated ever so slowly. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and open up this fuel and get some more torque on this thing. Not that it's going to do us a whole lot of good, but we're going to try. And should we run the science? I don't have anything here that's going to deploy and look all weird, do I? Run science. We'll see if maybe we have... I don't think we have any new experiments, but it's worth finding out. Oh, that's going to take a good long while to get there, isn't it? Or did I click the wrong thing? No, yeah, 8 minutes. Oh well. So I guess we'll run the science after we do our burn. It seemed weird. The RCS came on instantly, so I was like, oh yeah, no signal delay because we have command pods on here, and KSP thinks that there's a crew in there even when there's not. And the real answer is no. No, we do not. And let's also... Oh, this is going to take another 8 minutes. So, not that it matters, but... You know, it's a thing. Oh, and I have no way of checking if we're ullaged. Well, that's a problem. Well, I guess we'll just run the ullage thrusters for a good long while just to make sure. Again, no idea how many ignitions I have left. At most, I think I have 3. I highly doubt I was very effective on getting this thing out to target, but it's been a minute, so I don't quite remember. Alright, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and go a little bit early. I'll probably give it another 20 seconds or so. I don't want to use physics warp because I'm absolutely terrified this thing is going to explodify itself. KSP taking a short break there. Alright, so let's get a better view. Ah, perfect. You made it to Mars, David. We're so proud of you. Now I can't read my numbers. 1 minute, 6 seconds. Let's go ahead and light them up. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Solid light on all 4 HG3s. We are a go for orbital insertion. Fantastic. That worked amazingly well, I guess, all things considered anyway. And good. We still do have some fuel there in our main upper stage thrusters. Jump out here to the map view and see where we're at. Apparently still not quite captured. Bringing around pretty quickly though. 8.37 TWR on this vehicle currently. I'll take it. Shutting down before it starts chasing that node all over Hell's Half Acre. Sending node of 2 degrees. How much effort is that going to take to weasel out of, I wonder? Something like 21.9 meters per second, which is really not that bad. We'll just go ahead and arrest this spin with some time warp. That's 13 hours from now. I think we can manage that. Oh, hey, science. Stuff that we already have. Oh, I reset something that I could have gotten some points for, of course. Reset, 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 reset. Yeah, okay. I think we're good there. We'll just do that proper when we have a crew aboard. How's our boil off? It's getting worse. Down to 1,500 meters per second left in this stage. Good grief. I really wonder if we have 3 ignitions. We're not going to use one for this plane change maneuver. But we might try to get ourselves on course for Harmonia. Because why the hell not? There's lots of extra fuel there and some life support. And maybe we can assist in getting this thing topped off and know exactly how many resupplies we need to shoot at Mars' next window. Along with the crew. Alright, 8 minutes out. I don't know if this will take 20 some odd. 22 meters per second. Might take us more than 8 minutes to do. Hell, it might take us 8 minutes to pivot into place. Yeah, see, SAS turned off instantly. But yet science takes 8 minutes to radio in. It's very interesting indeed. So we'll get ourselves spun around in position here in some very, very sped up footage because, oh boy, did this take a good long while. And on the back of our RCS thrusters, we will correct for our relative inclination and get that down to something a little bit more respectable, way less than a degree, .06, .0 something, and then time warp ourselves back around to our super super optimistic node? And well, the answer to everyone's burning question, or to those of us who remember the live stream, is ullage. Wait, what? No ignitions remaining. Seriously? No ignitions remaining. Well, we can stop moving fuel around, I suppose. Oh boy, that was a miscalculation. Although, oh boy. I guess I should have burned for broke. And after having reviewed the live stream footage, I do remember saying that I was going to deactivate 2 engines, make the orbital insertion burn, correct the inclination on RCS, and then activate the other 2 engines to burn for broke and get ourselves into a somewhat stable orbit. But we will have to say goodbye to the beautiful hassle stage and my total incompetence. We're just going to park this here and try to figure out what to do with it a little later. So, moving swiftly along, we will go to our supply pod. That was the wrong pod on the wrong mission, going to the wrong place. And, well, it's here now, so we're going to correct its telemetry to bring it in a whole lot closer to Mars than it is currently. Periapsis around 1 million kilometers, anything. We want to get as close to the planet as possible, take full advantage of that Oberth effect. This HG3 has something like 3 ignitions remaining, so we can actually execute a correct orbital insertion here without really worrying too much, although we only have about 700 meters per second left in this stage, or in our HG3B upper stage. There's a node we don't need, and so it's basically going to burn for broke and do most of the orbital insertion. It should capture on just that, and then we have our other engine to take care of. So we'll set up flight computer to decouple after about a minute of runtime, and then activate our AJ-10 for hopefully the rest of our orbital insertion burn, and get ourselves warped down to an appropriate place, get ourselves angled in, and turn you back over to old me for live-ish commentary. Alright, ullage. These thrusters will be dry by the time we light the engine, so maybe we'll just leave those empty. Ignition. Good light on the HG3, thank goodness. Alright, so a little bit more than a minute of runtime. We've got about a minute to kill in between, so hopefully everything here will just go extra. Oh, come on. We have an engine failure on the HG3 with like 50 some odd seconds of runtime left in it. God, why can't anything just go smooth? Oh, alright, well, I guess we're just gonna wait out the extra 2 minutes till we jettison this. Oh yeah, the bounce from the antenna. Well, alright then. Light the AJ-10 since it's nicely activated for us. Thank you, flight computer. Yeah, we're just gonna cheat to wipe that spin off a little bit, because I am kinda over it. Alright, there's a better light of the AJ-10, and man, it's got some work to do. This is a fuel supply pod, although I guess its secondary mission is to deliver life support supplies, so if we have to waste a bunch of fuel to make sure that we get the life support on site, then so be it. So, okay, well, we can run this engine for an hour and 35 minutes to get 5 kilometers per second. We only need about 2 of them, give or take 1.3. Well, we'll just ramp this footage up a little bit, because, man, this is going to be just a long burn and me sitting here holding the H key, hanging out with my co-pilot. So it was probably best that I muted the mic. There was a lot of jangling and noises. Anyway, thanks to speeding all of this up, we can burn through most of it pretty quickly here. Watching the eccentricity actually turned out to be the cue for when things were going to hit orbital. Any number greater than 1 and you are not in orbit. Numbers less than 1, you should be in orbit, although KSP does tend to screw with these things quite a bit. So basically, we're just going to try to put this thing in a bit of a parking orbit so that we can decide what to do with it later, if it's going to go to Harmonia, as it is on course for that right now, or if it's going to go to our drop lab and drop its supplies there before, I don't know, sitting there forever, because it probably won't have enough fuel to crash itself into Mars or do anything else. Maybe we'll just detonate it. Anyway, it's time to move on to the third phase of this episode, which involves our habitat for Harmonia Station, which is just now making its change into Mars SOI, and we also probably need to raise its periapsis. It's coming in about 90 kilometers, and without a heat shield, as Nopey McNopeface proved a while back, that could actually be fairly problematic. And actually, if we get a high quality burn, looks like we could almost just go straight for rendezvous after our orbital insertion, which would be really, really interesting. However, it's not in the cards for me. I just don't really have the time to do an actual rendezvous today while doing this recording anyway. So unfortunately, docking of all the things will have to wait for a dockisode, as this was an orbital insertisode. Do with that what you will. Anyway, so we've got our periapsis set to 145 kilometers, which is good and low. We're going to warp on in and get this thing spun around and hopefully into a nice parking orbit. So I'll turn you over to old me. Alright, so we'll get ourselves angled into our node here, slowly, although not near as slowly as some of the other things we've had to deal with today. Just nice and gentle. Node is about 2 kilometers per sec. Control from here. Yeah, I just noticed our delta V figure was negative. Oh, signal delay. Okay. Is this actually retrograde? No, it can't be. Oh, let me just, yeah, no. The way the planet's moving beneath us, or this is definitely prograde. So let's switch ourselves around and put to prograde that is actually retrograde. 8 minutes, 20 some odd seconds before our control from here command goes through. So, looks like we're just doing this one by the seat of our pants. Let's make sure this thing works. And ullage of sorts. Ignition. Whoa, whoa, come on. Who is telling you to point that way? Are we off balance? And why are yaw and... Well, yeah, it should be fighting against this roll. Alright, let's find the 2 tanks that are in the habitat itself. Nope, there's one. So the other one is opposite. This one's full. So maybe this one's not. Nope, full. That's not the issue. Then, okay. So no life support, but lithium hydroxide and electric charge. Come on, KSP. That one has the same, and that one has the same. Well, alright. Looks balanced. They should be. We had to do all of that manually. It wasn't a live stream, though, so maybe? Alright. Angle into prograde, which is actually retrograde, for at least the next 7 minutes and 3 seconds. Ignition. Just a little kick, and... Yeah, no, that is... My fingers were off the keys. That was... Yeah, look at the gimbal. Why is it defaulting to just pegging out like that? Yeah, I'm so over this. Yeah, look at how the gimbal rests. I take my fingers off the keys, and it just... Bam. So, we're going to take away your gimbal. You have lost your gimbal privileges. Gimbaling has been revoked. We'll give it 1 degree of gimbal. This thing should be light enough that these quite potent RCS thrusters should be able to handle it. I'm hoping anyway. Alright, so back to prograde that's actually retrograde. Yeah. Yep. Topped and full. Those two are definitely balanced, and that should be the vast majority of our things here. So with our gimbal locked now. What's vapor and feed lines? I've been holding the H key for like minutes now. Still? Oh, yeah. N key. Hold the N key. Oh, this day. This day. Very stable. There we go. Just a little bit of ignition. Engines at throttle for the win. Holding steady. What do the thrusters do when I take my hands off the controls? A little bit of yaw input. Leveling out now, though. Let's bring this throttle up. Bring it up some more. Okay, looks like we're staying mostly true here to the prograde vector. That's... Huh. I don't know, maybe we have a gimbal failure. This engine is very interesting and not quite proven. Yeah, still a little bit of variation here. So I'm over it. We're bringing out the Mech Jeb sized guns. Smart ASS, kill rotation. Let's get this done. And we'll just go ahead and speed up the rest of this, because thankfully, other than a little bit of wobbling deviation that I actually had to fight against manually, the rest of this orbital insertion went pretty smoothly. I was actually fully expecting this engine to also fail and for everything to just become absolutely terrible. This is like the worst Karmatic Mars window ever. I guess all these low DV figures we were getting were symbolizing other hardships to come. Anyway, we will make our inclination way out here, but we actually have a pretty good intercept with Harmonia Station. We're just going to use that as a guide to dial it in, but that will have to be on a future episode. So after I get our fuel consolidated and locked, because something on this thing is absolutely haunted. Yeah, that's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So, until then, see you later.